Hello, Pisces. Welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm so happy to have you guys here. We're going to dive right in. We are going to just get some cards here in the beginning to sort of set a tone, and then we're going to dive into this beautiful new tarot deck that I just got called the Tempest Tarot Deck. I'm obsessed with it. I got it because it's obviously based on water, and I read for Pisces. So it's kind of perfect. And then we're going to use it to do a Celtic cross. And I'm really excited. I don't know. This came to me, so we're doing it. And I'm excited. New deck. Here we go. For Pisces, please, Spirit, what can you tell us? What does Pisces need to know right now? For Pisces. Wow. For Pisces. Oh, Pisces. All right, you guys have respect begins with me. Oh, wow. This is so interesting. I literally, when I was meditating this morning, I got this energy of, sometimes, we all cover our insecurities, and it's usually, it just makes your insecurity more obvious to the people around you, right? Like, you know what I'm talking about because you've seen it in other people. It's no different for any of us. And there's this, I got this energy so strongly in meditation of, just all the different ways that we cover insecurities. And even a lot of people do kind of turn to religion or spirituality to cover insecurities. It's like, I know all the right things to say. I know this in theory. I know, I've learned this, or I can quote the Bible this, or I can quote, this. But it's actually, it's not something that this person has really accepted as truth and has really, taken in as nourishment. It's something that someone uses superficially to cloak themselves, to hide something deeper, or, to kind of, it's even like used as a tool to avoid going deeper. And it's not, I don't want to just single out religion and spirituality as that. And by the way, I'm not saying anything bad about religion or spirituality. I'm not saying anything at all about them. I'm just saying the ways in which we as human beings, as flawed, imperfect human beings with insecurities, how we use, sometimes people will use education and knowledge. Sometimes people will use beauty. Sometimes people will use laughter and being funny. Sometimes people will use, we use all these things, but what the truth of the thing is that it's actually preventing us from our authenticity. And the closer we get to our authenticity, the more we attract, people who are actually, soul tribe, soul family type level people, and who deeply resonate with our actual self. And nothing feels as good as being loved for who you are, and nothing resonates as deeply as something that's authentically resonating with you. And so all of these capes and cloaks and things and masks and whatever that we put out there and that we project and that we use to sort of protect ourselves from the pain and the suffering and whatever's inside that we're kind of not ready to sit with yet or process yet, it prevents us from our authenticity. It keeps us on a more superficial or shallow existence. And there's a heavy emphasis on this right now. I feel energy of towers happening, okay? So I'm not saying this is you, Pisces. This could be your person. This could be anyone close to you. But this says Face what's hidden. Truth will set you free. So it's like, dive beyond whatever you think you know, go beyond what, even it's always good to reevaluate, even, our deeply held thoughts on the universe or on ourself or our own life or this or that. I was literally watching Mayim Bialnik. She used to be Blossom on TV. She has I think one of the best shows on YouTube personally. And she was interviewing Thomas Campbell, and he was like, having belief, keeps us from being curious. It's like, oh, I already know what I believe about that. And then when we're listening to people, we're listening for, oh yeah, that aligns with what I believe, or that doesn't align with what I believe. And that is this energy. It is this energy of the cloaking, the masking, the cape wearing, I already know all this stuff, but have you let it really nourish your soul? But have you really taken it in? But have you really, lived on it? I don't know how to say it, but there's a big difference. You can know all the stuff in the entire world. You can have all the knowledge. You can be brilliantly smart, but just completely miss the boat at the same time. Okay. And then Bhakti, Baba, we're chilling. Thank you. Okay. And then you have, your love has changed my life. Then you have, I trusted you and you broke me. And then you have, I am worthy of the love I seek. All right, you guys, I'm just going to say this is pretty crazy, because this picture is denoting, how do you say that? It is a picture of a bowl that has been broken and has been repaired with gold, which is a Japanese art called kintsugi or something. I don't, I really don't like to misspeak another language or just another, okay, I'm gonna spell it for you, okay? It's KINTSUGI. And it's one of the most beautiful things that I've ever heard of or learned of in my life, I swear. When something breaks, they repair it with gold. And it becomes more precious, more valuable, because it has broken and been repaired. And that is telling the story of this vessel's life. And so it's almost a way of celebrating the breaks and the brokenness, and respecting it and honoring it and almost paying homage to it. It's let me make it more obvious. Let me not use clear super glue, but let me use gold, something that inherently has value and is precious and will make this humble vessel more precious, because what breaks oftentimes is what sets us free. But Pisces, there is this energy here of, I trusted you and you broke me. And there's this chain that is broken at the bottom of this card. And then it goes into this energy of, I am worthy of the love I seek. When we trust someone and they break our trust, or they do something that betrays us, we experience that as, as trauma. We experience that as, something hurtful, something painful, something that suffers, and something that causes our suffering. And we can, at times, sort of break and then not really repair it, or just try to gloss over it or move past it, or tell ourselves a story about it. I'm better than this, I'm bigger than this, that this was that person's problem, all those things are fine, but they aren't really diving deep into the process of repairing this chain, of putting yourself back together, of filling yourself with gold, right? It's more of, I can explain it, I can put words to it, I can make it bearable by finding an explanation that makes it bearable, makes it livable. But when we actually repair it, when we actually, dive deep into those broken places and fill them and nurture them and love them, we heal ourselves back to this place of worthiness, because what happens when you trust someone and they hurt you or they break you, or you allow yourself to be vulnerable with someone and they use it against you, or you date someone and you tell them your biggest fear and then they do the biggest fear against you, that those kinds of things, or even just, you love someone and they can't meet you that deeply and they disappoint you and they leave you and they hurt you. It can cause you to kind of go within and look at yourself and say, I must have done something wrong. What did I do wrong? We're either a person that does that, or we're a person that's like, it couldn't possibly be my fault. That other person is this, that other person is that, right? Those are the two kind of basic people that we have here. And, if you are here watching this, chances are you're probably the person that's like, well, let me look at myself. Let me look at what I did. Let me introspect on this, which ultimately is a gift, because ultimately that is where you're going to find a lot of answers. By going within, you're going to, give yourself the greatest opportunity of enlightenment and happiness, true happiness and things like that. But it can be a painful process. And if we're not careful, if we're not actually healing, and we're just sort of getting stuck in the place of like, oh man, this happened again, or, it must be me because this keeps happening to me, or this is a repeating pattern in my life, or, you may have had a parent that told you you weren't worthy, and then everything you've experienced in your life, even after moving out of the home, is that you're not worthy. Then it's really hard to believe that you are worthy. Again, guys, if you take anything away from this channel, I always hope that it is the deep inner knowing that you are worthy. You are worthy. You are a living, breathing miracle. I'm going to say that as many times as it wants to come up in my readings, because it is just such a critical thing that we as humans so often lose and forget and never, fully restore or repair. And that's what I feel like this message. It's like, you are a living, breathing miracle. Your worthiness is not decided by you. It isn't decided by the people around you. It isn't decided by your parents, society, your teachers, your president, your cultural leader, your religious or spiritual leader. It's not determined by any of those things. It was determined the moment you took your first breath. It was determined that you were worthy of this experience, being a spiritual being, having a human experience, your soul tethered to this human body by breath, something you can't even see, something that you don't ever even think about. You are a living, breathing miracle. Of course you're worthy. There is no worthier cause than you, right? That just is the way that it is. Gabor Mate says that our worthiness, that it could even be a question, is a matter of perspective, not a matter of truth. And, there are people who will try to make you believe that you are not worthy all the time, everywhere, and all kinds of things that will make you believe that if you have this, or if you do this, or if you accomplish this, then you'll be worthy. No, there's no earning your worthiness. Worthiness is not a badge, a prize, or an award that someone can hand to you or give to you. It is something that you are born with. You are the divine and ecstatic motion experiencing this life. You have a purpose, and you have a reason for being, and you are a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soul that has had many, many experiences, that is experiencing this as a flawed, imperfect human being. You know, I mean, it is profound. If you sit and think about it, it is profound. I literally the other day on Instagram saw this thing that was like talking about, in order for you to exist, there had to be two parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents. And it is astonishing how fast I mean, and it's not even 16. It's like that number is way bigger. It's either like 32 or 100 or something, because you know, it's 2 grandparents for great-grandparents for every great-great-grandparent. You know what I'm saying? And the number is so huge of all these people that had to exist for you to be here in this, you know, genetic human body. And I mean, just that alone is astounding. But without even thinking about breath and how crazy breath is, and how breath is this bridge between your soul and your body. And when you stop breathing, that tether is cut, you know, you're free as a soul again to move on. But like, how sad to lose this experience. You only get to experience it once in this body, in this life, at this time. Like, what a treasure, what a gift. Of course you're freaking worthy. You are worth repairing with gold. You are worthy of love and care and kindness. And Pisces, you have this energy of your love changed my life. Your love changes lives, you know, it does. And, you know, when you invest, when you love the right people, when you put your energy toward someone who can meet you there, what can happen is absolutely astonishing and incredible and beautiful, and what an incredible gift. And so it is worthy to keep looking for it, and to keep persevering, and to keep going through it. I mean, at least that's my opinion. That may not be yours, and that's okay too. But you have this respect begins with me card on the bottom. And this, you know, this is like, first you have to show it to yourself before, you know, there's all kinds of, you know, some people say this and then some people disagree with that, but you do teach people how to treat you. And when you, and also, when you don't respect yourself, when you don't love yourself, and when you don't really believe that you're worthy, it is too exhausting for other people to try to meet you in that place. Because they can't convince you. You cannot convince another person of these things. And we may be talking about your person, and this may be me talking to you, of you can't convince another person, right? You know, listen to your own intuition and take it how it resonates. But it is that bottomless pit. It is that bottomless cup. Until someone can, you know, respect themselves and stop the toxicity in their life, and use their free will choices for love rather than fear, you can't convince them to do that. That's an internal choice that person has to be prepared to make. And in order to make that choice, sometimes we have to go through an awful lot. And I just see here, Pisces, I do feel like you have helped people find their way toward love, toward greater love, toward choosing love. There could be a past person coming around here. I've definitely been getting a lot of that energy. It feels like, you know, we are out of the post-shadow period even of Mercury retrograde, but, you know, sometimes the effect of Mercury retrograde lasts a long time after. It's like they really started thinking about you, or having this nostalgic feeling back then, and it only intensified, and now they're sort of stuck with it, wondering what to do with it, kind of energy. But I do feel like, you know, anytime that you do help someone to find their way, or to help find the bottom, you know, and so that they can start going back up, you know, that's karma, you know, and that is something that you've put out into the world that will come back to you. That, you know, you didn't waste it. It's not lost. It's not gone. Even if this person can't get themselves together to find their way back to you in this life, that love, that kindness, it will come back to you. All right, let's dive into this Celtic cross, shall we? We're going to start with tarot, and then we're going to clarify. Wow, okay, so the energy right now is, wow, the Two of Swords. Crossed by the High Priestess. This is an interesting energy. All right, let's clarify. So the Two of Swords, you know, is an energy of a little bit of stagnancy, but it's an energy that is self-imposed. And sometimes it is an energy of recharging ourself. You know, it's, oh my God, I literally say that and the healing card pops out. It can be, it's an energy of Libra, and I'm a Libra. And oh wow, oh my God, Pisces. Oh my, you guys, seriously? The High Priestess is clarified by intuition. What in the world? It's just going to be one of those days, I feel like. All right, so there is some fear here, and it feels like the fear is sort of lurking. It doesn't feel like the fear is owning the situation or has fully taken over, but its tentacles are out. It's kind of clouding a little bit of a situation here, and it's like, it's almost like I recognize because of this energy that I need to maybe protect myself. I need to, take a moment where I'm not looking for something outside myself, and I'm not really open to having a lot of new feelings or a lot of new experiences. I'm just sort of chilling here for a second because I recognize this energy of fear, and I recognize that what it's pointing out to me or what it's telling me is that there's something that is coming up for me to heal or to release. And so instead of just trying to push it down or pretend it doesn't exist or move beyond it, intuitively, I know that what I need to do is just sort of hang out here for a second. This is a real temporary thing. And it is before I make any decisions, because you've got a 2 with the Two of Swords and a 2 with the High Priestess. I don't want to make a decision out of fear. I want to make a decision out of a really solid place where I'm really open to all the possibilities so that I don't have any regrets. So you're listening to your intuition. You're listening to this deep inner knowing that's telling you, hey, I'm feeling something, and I have a decision coming up, and I don't want to be making that decision from a place that isn't my highest and best. All right, what is the basis of this, please? All right, we have a King of Cups that's spinning. It's a bit in reverse, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it in reverse, but it was spinning. So this is an energy that's changing. Or it can also be an energy of where it's like, I'm trying to figure out where this is going to land, okay? So it may be that I have big feelings for someone. This could be someone towards you also, Pisces. So it's like I have big feelings, but they're making me feel like where I normally feel like I am in control of my feelings, like I feel like I have kind of mastered having these feelings. This particular situation is making me feel like I haven't. You know, like I'm spinning a little bit, like I'm experiencing some ups and downs, and like it's not really in my control. Okay, oh wow. So we have second chance, and we have apology, and we have the Lovers. So remember, I told you that some kind of choice is coming up, and it's like we want to be really sure we're making this choice from a place of love, not fear. And we have the Lovers here, which can represent a choice. And this is about a soulmate. And this is about a situation that has made either you or your person or both of you feel a little bit out of control. is it's almost like an energy of like, I don't know if I should hold on to these feelings or if I should try to get rid of these feelings. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I have big feelings and I don't know if that means that I should, keep giving to that or if I should try to let that go. I don't know if there's going to be a second chance and an apology or if there's not. And so, it's kind of making me feel like, oh, do I just try to get over this? Do I just try to let this go? Or is this a deep soul connection that I need to hold space for? And if this is another person, this can even be the intuitive understanding that this person is trying to get a hold of themselves and their feelings. And that you may even feel or sense this energy of them really wanting to come in and ask, apologize and ask for forgiveness and try to make some kind of return here. There's definitely a decision being made. And it does feel like it's, do I come into harmony with this thing? Do I try to have a second chance with this thing? Do I believe there's a second chance with this thing? Or do I let this go? We know it's a soulmate. So we know that it's either, is this a lesson or is this a long time love? Wow. All right. So in the recent past, okay, we've got the Four of Swords and we have the Eight of Pentacles. It feels like we stopped talking to someone and there was some kind of suffering that we have been trying to heal from. Okay. Someone may have, okay. There was some kind of ending here. You may have, Pisces, felt like this was something that could be worked through. Something that, okay, we can find an answer. We can figure this out. And someone may have said, no, like, we're done. I don't even mean it to be that blunt or that harsh. Because it doesn't, with the Four of Swords, it's really not like that. But it's kind of like a gentle, like, I need to go my own way. Or it may not have felt gentle, right? Because that is not a good feeling. But it's sort of like I love this Four of Swords card, by the way. I love this deck. It's new. It's not just new to me, but it's new. There's this energy of there is some wound that I still have to heal, or there's something that I have to go out and find. There's something that I'm not understanding or something that I need to figure out before I can come towards this. I have to go away from it. And it does feel like it may have left you very confused, Pisces. I feel like there is this energy of, is this person really just escaping? Are they really just a runner? Are they really just an avoidant? Are they going to take this opportunity to heal or to be made better? Or are they just running away? I feel... This is interesting. When this person was coming towards you, I feel like they were someone that you had a good time with, that, you may have gone out to eat and drink with this person, or it may have been someone that you could kind of see yourself just kicking back and having a good time with, where you could easily converse or easily have, just feel relaxed and enjoy and be able to enjoy time with them. I think that this person also knew things or had some kind of wisdom or knowledge or some kind of understanding of things that was interesting to you. And it may have really made you feel like this was something that was probably going to work out, that it may require effort or energy, but for the first time, it felt like maybe this was a situation where you were dealing with someone who you actually had the potential. Like it was just going to take doing and working at, rather than overcoming big leaps and bounds of who you are and who I am, and you know, my understanding of you and your understanding of me, and trying to bridge that gap. It feels like, it felt like that gap wasn't so big or wasn't so wide. It was like kind of, you know, genuinely easy from the beginning, or you could understand why you were pulled toward this person, that, you know, there was a compatibility there that maybe wasn't so easy. So it just felt like, well, we'll put work toward it and we'll figure out the logistics of it, and then it will come together. It will all work out in the past. And then this person left and you were like, wait, hold on a second. I can see this working out. I can see this happening. Like, what's going on? What's crowning this way? Wow. Okay. So like, I hate to say this, but not really. I love saying it. You know, you're a catch. You know that you're somebody who is worthy of committing to. You know that you've worked hard on yourself and that you have found emotional stability and contentment on your own. You know who you are. You know what you deserve. You know what you're worth. You're not questioning it. And I don't know if this person kind of made you feel like you should question it, or like it was a question, or like they were questioning it, or like they didn't know, but it was like, wow, oh my. You kind of know that this person is going to come back around, honestly, because you know they're not going to find someone like you. But this time apart, or however they made you feel back here, has kind of left a bitter taste in your mouth. It's you know, I think at times you are able to be like, oh no, I feel nothing but love, or, you know, like, I'm fine, these things happen, you know, whatever. But then I think there is this energy that really does creep in, where you're kind of like, it's so obvious who I am, what I'm worth, what I deserve, that you sort of calling it into question, or you treating me in a way that's not in alignment with that, has left a bitter taste in my mouth. And I know you'll be back. And there is even this energy, it's like longing on the bottom of the deck right here. And I'm not sure if this is you, Pisces, or them, or a little bit of both, but it's like possibly at first, you may have really wanted this person back. You may have really wanted to put this thing back together or figure this out. Or, you know, you may have been sort of like really missing this person's actual physical presence in your life, or, you know, the text messaging or the phone calls or the conversation, what was so easy before. It's like you may have been missing that. But it's like, I think you have had this big return in your mind to your value and your worth. And I feel like, you know, that deep inner knowing of what you deserve and what this person wasn't giving you, it's kind of like, that's their problem, and I'm sure they're missing me by now. And, you know, this person may have felt relief, like they say that, you know, especially if you were dealing with an avoidant or something, when they first break up with someone, they feel this tremendous sense of relief of like getting away from this feeling of being overwhelmed that they were having. But then after that passes, they're in this deep sense of, oh my gosh, what did I do? I really miss my person. I really miss this situation. And I feel like for you, Pisces, you may be returning to this energy with the Nine of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles of having a good time with your friends or other people, or kind of this return to, oh, I'm back to myself now, and this feels good. I like being me. You know, I value my own company, and I have a good time like this, and I'm emotionally content, and I'm not confused, and I'm not, you know, at this other person's beck and call, or, you know, draining myself to give to them. Like, I've got it all for me. I'm focused on myself. I'm making my life more abundant. And you may not be missing them quite as much, or, you know, maybe you are still missing them, but it's not as bad as it once was. There's an energy of being like, oh yeah, you know, it's not so bad to be single me. And then your future Pisces, you got the Knight of Wands with the Two of Cups. This person is definitely thinking about coming back around, re-establishing this connection. There's an energy of them like sussing the situation out. This is crazy. I feel like this is just crazy. Okay, you got the Two of Cups with soulmates, you know. This person wants to try again. They want to go in a new direction. They want to do over. They are passionate. They do desire this. I do think that they are really heavily thinking about rekindling the flame. I do think that they are thinking about being in your physical presence, hugging you, smelling you, you know, I don't know. I just get that with this soulmates card of just like, oh, it will just feel so good to be back together. Like, and the thought of that, and the thought of, you know, holding you again or talking to you again or hearing your voice again, it is, it's intensifying the desire that this person has to come towards you. And I feel like Pisces, intuitively, you know how we started off with the Two of Swords and the High Priestess. Intuitively, I do feel, and I've sensed this the whole way through this reading so far, that you are knowing that someone is going to come back towards you. And I think that, again, we have another 2. So you've got 2, 2, 2. There's just this energy of, I'm going to have to make this decision. I'm going to have to decide. And there is a reason why this broke apart in the first place. I'm not sure what that is. And so it's like, do I really want to revisit it? And what is the loving choice? And what is the fearful choice? And how do I make sure that I'm staying in the loving choice for myself? You have reconciliation, second chance, try again. This is on this person's mind, heavy. What energy are they bringing? What energy are they coming at this with? Oh, the Strength card. Wow. I'm not going to take these, but I'm looking at them. You have the Star card and the Hermit here. This person has retreated. They have gone into their shell. They have been thinking about what they want. They have been thinking about what's really important to them, what direction they want to travel in, what they really want. This star is what is inside the Hermit's lantern. And they're knowing, Pisces, that it's you. You know, they know that you are what they're looking for and that you are the one that they are kind of coming out of this, out of their shell for. You have the Strength card showing up as the energy that they're bringing to the table with the Seven of Wands on the bottom of the deck. I feel like this person is trying to decide if there is, if there is competition for you. They may, if they are in your proximity, it kind of feels like someone who's like wanting to talk to you or desiring to get your attention, but there are other people around you kind of getting your attention or that have your attention. I don't know what this is called. Is it a spyglass? But you know, when you look through that, you can see one thing up close, but everything else you can't see. Like, this person can't see these people here. They can't see this ocean or this mountain. They can only see what's directly at the end of the scope. And it's giving me this. It gave me this with the Knight of Wands as well. That they're extremely focused on you and extremely focused on this. And I almost feel like they are trying to like the Hermit and the Star cards, stay really focused on what they want. I feel like this person has a tendency to feel with the hopeless and the withdrawn. Wow. They're feeling like actually, let me just say, some people are optimists and some people are pessimists. It feels a little bit like this person is a bit of a pessimist, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. It feels like they have a tendency to get hopeless and to think that it's not in their control, there's nothing they can do, that they aren't capable of being in a happy connection or a happy relationship. And that sort of causes them to withdraw. Or they have limiting beliefs where they think that people only want them for one thing, or that love is something that is a ball and chain. It's something that destroys your life, not builds it up. You become a slave to it, kind of energy. And so this kind of fear, scarcity mindset, insecurity kind of energy keeps them withdrawing, keeps them trying to be safe away on their own. And they're trying really hard to just stay focused on what they want to happen and bringing it closer to them, and keeping this energy at bay, keep themselves from self-sabotaging the connection. And so with the Strength card, they're coming in an energy that is like, I'm muscling through what may have been the downfall before, or what normally sort of gets me. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to fight to have what I want this time, to get the outcome that I want this time. Maybe they're trying to convince themselves even that they are worthy of the love, that they're worthy of you, Pisces. What energy is Pisces bringing? What energy is Pisces bringing? The Devil. Pisces. With the 8 of Swords. Pisces. What the what? Wow. You're trying to overcome your own stuff, Pisces. Wow. This feels like a classic case. Pisces, I feel like you came into this connection feeling really good about yourself, knowing your worth, knowing your value, being whole, being complete. being emotionally content. And I feel like this person came in with their own limitations, limiting beliefs, their own they were not capable of meeting you where you were. And they may have projected these things onto you, or their rejection, or I'm not going to say it's a straight up rejection, because with the Four of Swords, it's more of a, I need to focus on myself, I need to heal. It's not like you aren't, I'm rejecting you, like I don't want to be with you. They're not saying that. They weren't saying that. They were saying, I need to heal. Like I have some things that I need to take care of that has been exposed to me probably through this connection. And they may not have said all of that, but that's what happened here, I feel. But what happened was it brought up for you this feeling of, am I worthy? Why does this keep happening to me? Why do I trust and believe in these people and try to show up for these people, knowing that I'm worthy of love, knowing that I'm the Queen of Pentacles, that I'm someone that you should commit to because of I'm the full package, like everything that I'm bringing to the table. And I've worked really hard to be this person. Why am I always finding myself out in the cold? And so it's bringing up like their lower vibrational tendency played on your core, the core fears that we all have. And it triggered something that may have been a bit of an unhealed wound that you have now had to work through. And you don't want to open yourself back up to this person if they're going to do that again. You don't want to keep opening this wound. It's like, if you fall down and you scrape your knee, or like, I don't know, if you keep picking the scab, it takes forever to heal. But if you just, put some Neosporin and a Band-Aid on it and forget about it, it's going to heal, 2 to 3 times faster, I think the commercial says. So it's kind of like you've been through this enough times that you don't need to keep going through this. You don't need to keep questioning this and then putting yourself back together again. It's kind of not helpful to you. Like intuitively, that revisiting this is really a waste of time because you've already figured it out. And so having something in your life that's just going to keep reminding you and like ripping that scab off, it's just prolonging your healing time, or it's really putting you through unhelpful suffering. And I say that because, there are 2 kinds of suffering in a way. One kind of suffering, well, there are multiple types of suffering, and actually there are some really good things written about the types of suffering, and I'm breaking this down to in a very basic way to illuminate a point. And so if you're interested in the types of suffering, definitely Google it and look at it, because it's pretty interesting. But there is suffering that is helpful, that, where we're learning a lesson that we don't already know. And then there is suffering that is playing on a wound that we've already had, that is healing. It is in the process of healing. Healing, remember, is not a start and a finish line. It is cyclical, and it keeps coming back up. And so there are times where it comes up and it's helpful because we can release it, we can let it go. But when we're talking about the 5 of Pentacles, when we're talking about these core fears that we have as a human being, of not being worthy, of not, of a fear of intimacy, of a fear of rejection, of a fear of abandonment, of these things, those are fears that we can't ever really fully 100% eradicate from ourselves. And so revisiting them when we've already worked it out, it just puts us through this cycle of reworking it out, of just talking ourselves through it, of self-soothing ourselves. See, there's the initial suffering that you have where you figure out what the answer is. And let's just take, for example, I am not worthy, okay? And when we discover that we are worthy, that we are a living, breathing miracle, right? And that our worthiness is not a question at all. You know, it's not that we're never going to wonder if we're worthy or not again, or that it's never going to come up again. It's that when it does come up, we already have the answer. We can already sort of plug ourselves into that. We can self-soothe ourselves by reminding ourselves of it, by going, okay, what I hear you saying, self, is that you're wondering if you're worthy. Well, we've already worked this out. We've already gotten this gift. We already know the answer to this equation. So let's sit down with ourselves and let's work through this. Let's go over it. Let's meditate on it. And it's not to say that it can't become more clear to you. I've meditated on this a lot. And every time I do meditate on it, I get an even better understanding, an even deeper knowing. But, you know, putting myself in proximity to people that are going to constantly question my worth is something I obviously don't want to do. I don't speak to my family at all anymore, you know? And so it's like, I came to a place where I realized, like, you ripping the Band-Aid off, you making me question this all the time is not worth it. It was not worth it for me. You are not worth it to me to keep going through that. I already know the answer to that. And the fact that you would even make me question it is not loving. So there is this energy here with this devil of, is this person's shadow side, or is this person's insecurity, or is this person's hopeless and withdrawal kind of energy, is it playing on a core wound to you that kind of keeps you in a cycle that isn't really helping you? And so intuitively, it's like you're kind of saying to yourself, you know, is this worth it? Is this what this person is coming to me as? This like real karmic lesson where I keep learning the same thing over again, or I have to keep facing something that I already know the answer to. It's like, it's not giving me a gift. It's just putting me back through a cycle that I've already been through. Do you see what I'm saying? And with the Strength card and the Devil here, it is, you do have the antidote to this energy. You already know the answer. You already have this within yourself. So you've already figured it out. But I don't think this person has really come to you in the energy of the Strength card before. I think that this person has come to you in an energy of wanting to use your Strength card for themselves. And I think you drew a hard boundary here, Pisces, with your Queen of Pentacles and energy crowning the spread of like, I know my worth, I know my value. I have to have a strong boundary here. If you can't see my value, that is your problem. That is not my problem. But it's still played on, but why do I keep finding these people that won't give me, that leave me out in the cold, that don't choose me, that have to leave instead of stay, and figure it out with that Eight of Pentacles, beautiful energy. And so intuitively, I feel like you're really intuitively navigating this space. Like you're not exactly 100% sure how you're going to respond to this person or what is going to happen here, because you're sort of listening to your higher and better self. You're listening to your intuitive self sort of guide you through this. Is this just an exercise in karmic lesson, or is this something that can evolve beyond this point? Because you don't want to keep going around and around in this, mentality that it doesn't really allow you to grow. It just keeps you learning the same lesson over and over again. It keeps you, just coming back to what you already know. Okay. Your hope and your fear, God, is the Page of Pentacles with the Wheel of Fortune. What the hell did I just say to you, Pisces? It's this. This is a spiritual lesson, and it's like, I already know it. I already have it. Do I have to, is this just a cycle where I'm going to keep learning this over and over again? If I choose this cycle again, is it just going to be me learning another, round of spiritual lesson in regards to, possibly my worth and my value, when I already knew it flat out when I met this person? Yeah, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this again. Yeah, if this person is going to, Lord. If they're going to run away, if they're going to resist this love, this soulmate connection, if it's going to trigger them and trip them out and cause them to leave me in the cold every single time, I'm not interested in it. You know, that is not what I'm on board for. That is my fear, for sure. Your hope then would be that they would stop resisting it and learn the lesson and show up and come back around and, you know, having made a different choice, bringing about a new opportunity for something, to experience something new. And that you would have been in their life to break them free of this cycle so that the two of you could go on and experience something really beautiful together. Pisces. There's something here too where it's like there's also a fear of like that they're not ever even going to have the courage to come forward, that they're not ever really going to have the courage to do anything but sort of play this cat and mouse game of, you know, letting you know that they're watching you, that they're still interested in you, that they're still trying to find things out about you, but that their back is still turned, that they're still resisting, that they're still hiding it, and they're keeping your attention on them and not moving forward. Your best possible outcome is the Magician with the Queen of Wands. So I feel like that is this person stepping into their power and coming forward and saying, you know, like, I want this. And I feel this energy, Pisces, with the Queen of Wands here, that the more you're living your life, the happier you are in your life, the more, you know, kind of you are in pursuit of the things that bring you joy, the things that you desire, the more this person, it feels this sense of call, you know, to come forward, to be with you. Can I get another one? Yeah, you know, clarifying the Magician, you have sorrow and clarity. And I feel like, you know, this person is sad without you. They do miss you. They are, you know, feeling the loss of your presence in their life. And I think that is bringing about clarity. That, you know, when you miss someone and you can't stop missing someone, I mean, I'm sure you know how it feels. You may even feel that way about this person. You think, okay, well, I would be over this by now if it wasn't something, you know, if this person wasn't important, or if, you know, they weren't supposed to hold some kind of place in my life. I would be over it. You know, it's like sometimes the sadness makes you see the truth. And for you, Pisces, this could be you too, stepping into your own power and saying, you know what, this person only makes me sad. This connection is only ever going to make me sad. I need to take my power back and move in a new direction and start attracting what I want into my life instead of, you know, waiting for this or chasing this or anything. I need to really be putting all my focus, my energy on what I want to fill my life with, and filling it with it, not by chasing it, but by attracting it. This definitely is a past life connection, and it definitely does hold a strong purpose in your life. And, you know, it isn't for nothing. It isn't for naught. It wasn't for nothing. It wasn't for naught. I feel like I need to say here. But you do have on this past life energy repeated patterns. And so it feels like, regardless, this is an opportunity to break a pattern, you know, in this soulmate connection. Maybe you have repeated, you know, maybe in past lives you have sacrificed your worth or your value, or you have not learned your worth or your value, and you've let this person back in, and now you're breaking the cycle by staying very true to your worth and your value. I mean, who knows, right? But the energy is just, it's one of those things where I do feel like, Pisces, you are sort of putting a stake in the ground and saying, this changes here and now. I feel that with this Queen of Wands energy, like I'm prioritizing what I desire. And if the, you know, somebody who's resisting and somebody who's avoiding and running away is not what I desire. It just isn't. It's not making me happy. And so I'm putting the stake in the ground, and it's like, I'm not going any further than this on this path. This person can come towards me if they want. I'm not going to stop them, but I'm definitely not going to chase them or pursue them or whatever. And if they come to me, they better be using their own strength card. They better not be trying to use mine. I hope that makes sense. All right, you guys, let's dive in with some messages here and see what we get. Wow, okay. If you're dealing with the water sign, you're getting fantasizing. I am afraid to trust. If I had only known then what I know now. I am still moved by you. Trust me. And it's hard for me to explain things. And if you are dealing with the fire sign, blocking. No one else matters now. I remember everything you said. I don't want to let you down. Regret. Be patient with me, please. If you're dealing with an earth sign, triggered. Good intentions. Stuck. I am ready for more than just texts. I want your attention. My karmic story is ending, and I am sending you telepathic messages. And if you are dealing with an air sign, indecisive, angry, nostalgic, twin flames, excited, a lot of one-word answers here. I want to be vulnerable with you, repressing, distant, you are the one. All right, Pisces, this is what I have for you today. I really hope it helps. I hope it brought you some peace and clarity. If it did, let me know. Like, share, subscribe, comment, please, please, please. Until next time, I send you off with all my very best. Always, always, always. Bye-bye, guys.